Hello, I'm Shovda. This is going to be 11x Super Mario World with one hand. This is my first solo GDQ run, which everybody expected would be vanilla SMW, right?
We saw that.
We have, on the couch, we have GlitchCat7, we have Skybilz, we have authorblues. You may have seen them before, somewhere. And I think I'm ready in 3, 2, 1, go. And I will let my commentary do the talking during this.
So how about this controller? First of all, just to kind of mention, this is sort of it is a one-handed controller. The buttons are on the back, the D-pad is on the front, and that way she's able to operate it with one hand.
Yeah, there are a few specialty one-handed controllers for the Super Nintendo, and it doesn't make it easier that there's a custom controller. This is still an incredibly input technical game, and I worked with Shovda. I was talking to her a little bit before this run started. We were in the practice room, and I was talking to her about some of the techniques, and it boggles my mind that she can do it with one hand.
This level's pretty easy, though.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you see, you let me play this in the practice room, and I struggled to do that you just did. The buttons on the back are a different kind of shape too. They're not the normal circular. They're like these weird kind of small ovals, which is just it's a really different feel, and that's a big challenge.
Oh no.
Oh, okay. And there's the box jump. We're gonna get P-speed right at the beginning of that in order to maintain it through the level. But in order to do that, we've got to do this really tricky jump onto the message block and then the bottom of that rotating platform.
This stage is the filter for new speedrunners for this game. It would blow most of their minds to attempt it one-handed.
I remember when I saw the box jump in some video in like the mid-2000s, and I'm like, I am the worst player. I will never be able to do that trick.
You know, we're just going to go a little slow there. I am a little nervous, but we're getting there.
You are doing great.
Yeah, you made it most of the way. You made it through all the hard parts and lost P-speed right at the end.
It should be noted, I submitted this run as a joke, and GDQ called my bluff. I do really appreciate it. I love being here, but this was completely unexpected.
You know, you have worked so hard. I want everyone to know how hard Shovda has worked to put these runs on. She is just such a dedicated player. It's really, really admirable. Look at that. Not even getting the little jumps off the edge of those floating platforms and avoiding the urchins in the air. No problem. Or in the air. They're in the water. You know, air, yeah. Water.
Water is just slightly denser air.
That's true. It goes up, and that's what clouds are.
Well.
So traditionally, you try to avoid a power-up up to this point because it makes the first jump in this castle a little easier. That's the reason why you typically see speedrunners avoiding power-ups, midway tapes, taking items through goalposts, stuff like that.
So one of the key issues here with this controller is being able to hold a single button on the D-pad correctly. So there's a lot of accidental up inputs, things like that, as you saw on that jump. We're going to try to not do that, but it is very difficult to cradle this controller with one hand, very honestly.
It is a seldom discussed aspect of gaming, hand tech, how you are actually physically interacting with the controller. That can have a huge effect. And this is a run that really, really draws that out. And it's admirable that you've been able to really think in depth about that and how to use that for your run.
I feel like if you think about the way you typically hold a controller too, you're often sort of steadying the controller with one hand while you're manipulating it with the other.
Yes.
And so with the same hand that she's pressing the buttons on the back, she's steadying the controller, and sometimes you might expect, I would anticipate that I would probably have a bunch of unexpected D-pad inputs just from that alone.
Yeah. Yeah, when I first tried out this controller, my immediate reaction was to reach over with my other hand and steady it, and oh no, it's against the rules.
Love this music.
So was there a mod done of what you just did, but using the Japanese text? Because I know it is a little faster. Okay, I was curious about that.
Yeah, Shovda is using the Japanese text. It makes a pretty small difference for this category. It's definitely much bigger in other categories, but the not for necessarily the reasons you think it is. It typically has to do with the fact that, or the reason why it's faster on the Japanese version is because the save boxes are a little smaller, so when it sort of scrolls out and scrolls back in, it takes less time. Where it really starts to pay off a lot more is when you have things like Switch Palaces. The Switch Palace cutscene at the end takes like 4 seconds less in the Japanese version.
In this level, I am going to switch my grip just a little bit, especially after we get the shell in the little pipe area. I am realizing how hard it is to talk and do this at the same time as we go.
So we're gonna need to you're gonna do the spin fly up to grab that shell, and why the reason we want that is because holding an item underwater will allow Shovda to swim faster. And then that very quick, the cape spin, nice though. Trying to get the cape spin, it's possible to spin while holding that item, spin the enemy out of the way, and continue to hold the item because we want that speed.
Decent input in the room, though. We did get a chance to see the dual-colored pipe, meaning that it
Yes.
was a very tight input. That is a visual indicator for that.
Blessed run with the dual-colored pipe.
Love
Nicely
it.
done. Yeah.
The little things there, like losing the shell, that's extraordinarily common even with a standard controller. I mean, you're dealing with sort of frame rules of when objects run into other objects.
Oh my god.
Oh, the dive bomb through the ghosts. Oh,
Beautiful.
yes.
This
He
is
deserved it.
This is all one-handed, by the way.
Yeah.
Wow. Really impressive first room of Donut Secret House.
It should be noted, I did not hit that the entire week yet until now.
I mean, this is a great time to do that. Yeah. All right, heading into the big boo fight. How is this complicated by doing this one-handed?
No.
Okay.
This is easy.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna jinx myself. But
No. I don't need.
There's just big air quotes around easy.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
of course.
easy comparative to other things.
Relatively speaking, yes. But okay, well, we're gonna call it easy. I didn't jinx it. There we go.
So aside from using glitches and things, this is the fastest route to Bowser in the game. We're just gonna go up through Donut Plains, and then we're gonna take a little detour into the Star Road. That's why we got this exit. We're gonna go right into the Star Road, go around, and then the last Star Road exit is gonna take us directly to Bowser's Castle.
And this is the way authorblues likes to do Star World, not the way we were looking at before.
And we're gonna set up for some zips here as these blocks rotate.
I'm actually not gonna do zips
No.
here.
We're going to avoid the zips
Yes.
here.
So here, it's really it's a high risk, low reward in this category.
Yeah, that spot in particular is very
Yeah.
easy to zip beyond the camera, which just kills you instantly.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard enough when you have a normal controller to sort of like respond fast enough to be able to prevent yourself from zipping in the wrong direction. I can't imagine doing that on the one-handed controller.
I like the decision here by Shovda to just ignore the star altogether. We don't want Yoshi to grow up just yet because Yoshi will not be assisting Mario in going fast if that happens here. And I don't know if we are going to have Big Yoshi. I don't think we do. I think, no, don't do it. No, Shovda!
We had to.
I didn't say to eat them.
I feel like it's got to be nice having an item to swim with because I feel like on the one-handed controller, tapping to swim is probably a real pain.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you'd have to hold like up or down to stabilize yourself, and that would get way more annoying.
It's just sort of occurring to me, all of the little inputs that you do when you play this game just becomes so much more annoying or even more difficult in a lot of ways.
Yeah, you're really thinking about the minutia of your controller inputs when you try something like this.
Right here, this is a lot trickier than it looks here on this flight.
And Shovda wants to press back every time Mario's head dips down, and that can be done with more or less accuracy.
Perfect flight there. Well done, Shovda.
That's harder than it looks. Gaining height is not difficult when you're flying, but it is very rhythmic, and you don't have a lot of opportunity in that stage right there to gain height. If you miss one or two of them, it might be too much.
Okay, now we see the front door. Now we get a chance to see this. So I think we're gonna see door 2. Yep.
but-
Fancy door entry.
Yeah, but no door flight. That's okay.
Again, entering those doors is really temperamental, let alone keeping flight outside of those doors.
Unfortunately, we're not going to go in the 6.
I knew someone was going to mention in the 6.
No, there's a category where you just clip yourself into the 6, made out of concrete.
Oh.
But this is an intentional, the intentional damage boost there. That's why Shovda switched over to the Fire Flower, because she's going to want the cape later. And now we actually do get to see, we're going to turn on the light with the little disco ball up there, and some quick P-speed and spin flight. Oh.
It's okay.
Okay, unfortunate, but we're alive.
The most important thing is making it to Bowser, and we made it to Bowser.
So I was talking, you were saying that Shovda is going to try a new strat for this, or was that...
That was with cape.
With cape, yep. Sorry.
All good, all good.
Is there going to be an attempted ball skip maybe still though in phase 2?
I can try.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still possible.
I mean, it's temperamental. I mean, it's not easy to get.
So Bowser's going to throw out 2 of these Mecha Koopas per phase, and Shovda's going to try to keep one, because it's going to make, we're trying ball skip, so it's going to make things a little bit easier.
Delaying hitting him for that first hit actually changes a little bit about where he stops, which makes it easier to prevent him from throwing the extra Mecha Koopa off the side. And so now, despite not having the cape, she still has the extra Mecha Koopa between phases. Ball skip is still possible. It's tricky, but it's tricky with a cape anyway, so that hardly matters.
I appreciate, Shovda, that you're still in between phases when you're just kind of waiting. You're still kind of just fooling around. Like, with a one-handed controller, like, I would just be standing still and just being like, don't touch anything.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta get used to it, right?
Yeah.
All right, so...
Nice.
Yep, Bowser's going to go to do this, and we're going to flip the Mecha Koopa right up.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was really great.
Well done.
Yeah, like I said, the Mecha Koopa might get caught on the edge of the clown ball and not actually hit Bowser, but that was really, really well aimed.
Successful ball skip.
Yep. So Bowser would throw out another one of those bowling balls, and that's why we skip this ball skip. By hitting Bowser in that moment, we skip that phase.
And by preserving this extra Mecha Koopa here, she can get an early hit on Bowser's 3rd phase, which will speed it up a little bit. Instead of bouncing 8 times, he bounces 5 times or something like that.
There's a visual cue here. Going to throw it right up through the clown car. And there's the hit.
Nice.
Well done.
Yep. So one more hit to do it. And time will be coming up.
Here we go.
And... time.
That was amazing. No, let's clap some more. Let's do a lot of claps. Even one hand clapping.
Yeah, remember that everything you just saw was on a controller being held with one hand.
Shovda, you have answered the riddle. You have shown us the sound of one hand clapping.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for having me. Thank you, 3, for being on my couch. Really appreciate being here. I love GDQ. Been watching since 2013. Yeah.
She's got another run coming up this week that you're not going to want to miss. Joker Shell OK.
Yep.
Don't miss it.
That is a highlight of the marathon.
She needs 2 hands for that.
I think we are good to go, yeah?
Yeah, good to go. GG.